Hi everybody, I hope everyone's doing well. This video I will be sharing with you guys my initial review on the Diorskin Forever and Ever Wear foundation and its primer. So if you guys are interested, do stick around. So this is a new release from Dior. It is basically a reformulation of the Diorskin Forever Long Wear foundation, which is their long wear and I think more full coverage foundation. I'm not so sure if it is the fullest coverage, but it is definitely one of the more full coverage foundations from Dior. So this is how it looks. It is still the same packaging. So basically what this is just a reformulation. And it still comes in exactly the same glass packaging. I purchased mine in Canada and I think that's why it has this sticker labels. Perfect Makeup Everlasting Wear Pore Refining Effect Shine Control. It has an SPF of 35. And for reference, I am combination skin, and for shade reference, I am usually a MAC NC30. The shade match for me in this foundation is 021. 2-1 has more of a yellow-based undertone, which I find is more flattering on my skin tone. And I used to originally be 030 in Dior, especially with the Diorskin Nude. But the past few years, I found that the 030 is really very dark on me now. So I use 020 or 021. So I will show you guys the shade and I will also compare it to the Diorskin Star Foundation. This is 021, and for this Skin Star, this is 021 in Skin Star. It is not an exact same match. So I think for a lot of foundations that are released now, there really are a bit of nuances because of the ingredients of the formulation as well. So you don't really get the exact same shade match. And I highly recommend that anytime you're trying to get a new foundation, it's really still beneficial to swatch it. So this is the Forever, which is a bit more yellow. That is Forever, and this is Skin Star. And this is 021 as well. So you can see the Skin Star is a bit more warm, whereas you can see with the Forever, it is a bit more on the yellow, a bit paler. This is a bit more warm and beige. So there is the difference right there. So this is what the brand says about this product. Dior creates perfect makeup everlasting wear. Diorskin Forever. Its fluid, non-greasy texture perfectly blends with the skin for an immediate matte finish with no mask effect throughout the day. It provides optimal comfort and flawless wear. Day after day, the skin's texture appears refined and its surface beautifully enhanced. So that is what the brand claims about the product. And I've been using this product now for, I would say, 2 weeks or more. Now, with regards to the finish of this product, it is not your traditional matte where it's heavy looking and it's very visible to the eye and it's quite flat. This one is, I think, I wouldn't call it flat, but this one I've already set on my skin. I will show you guys the demonstration after my review of when I applied it on my skin and I did not set it. You'll see the finish. But even with setting this, I just set this with a translucent loose powder from Laura Mercier, and I did not use any highlighters on my skin so you guys can see how the finish actually looks. It is not a flat matte. You can see that you can still see, it's not luminous, but I did put like a brightening powder under my eye, but you can see that it is not the traditional very flat, very visible matte on the skin. I wouldn't say it's satin as well because you don't really, I mean, it looks quite mattified on my skin. So it is I would say a beautiful matte. I wouldn't say luminous matte, but it's definitely not a flat matte. So that's for the finish. Now for the coverage, this is definitely medium buildable. I wouldn't say it's extremely full coverage, although you can definitely bring it there if you want. I just haven't really done it with this foundation or this product because I am happy with the medium buildable finish that I get with it. but it's definitely not light, it's definitely not sheer. Even on a first layer of half a pump, you will cover most, if not all, of your blemishes, including any redness and unevenness in skin tone. So it's definitely up my alley when it comes to the kind of coverage that I want. And the mere fact that it's buildable as well is a plus, because then you can really wear it at night, except that this has SPF of 35. So I think in flash photography it may reflect, although I believe I've tried using flash with my iPhone and it wasn't really very reflective. It didn't look very oily or like an oil slick on my skin, but definitely it is not free from any reflection if you use flash photography. Now, the application that I most favor with this product is actually, and very surprisingly, with my fingers. Because it is medium coverage instantly, sometimes I don't really need that much coverage on a daily basis. And so with my fingers, I get to control the sheerness or the fullness of the product. And I really like the coverage that I get when I use my fingers, because it's instantly the coverage that I would work on with other products, because it doesn't look heavy. It still melts. I think with the fingers, what's nice about it is it melts into the skin, so it looks more skin-like. But as I've shown with a brush, or buffing it in with a brush, it really gives you more coverage instantly. So if you have blemishes or a lot of redness or unevenness in skin tone that you want to get instantly rid of, then use a brush. Now, with regards to using a sponge, I had a damp beauty blender with me. I don't really like using it as an applicator, directly applying it with that. I actually like using it as a finishing touch, whether I use my fingers or my brush, because it just really presses the product into the skin. And I also think that it kind of lifts any residue or film from the product off my skin, so it really just packs it on and sets it beautifully. So this is how it kind of dries down. This is the Diorskin Forever and this is the Star, so you can see the difference in the shade tone. So I got a little bit ahead of myself and I forgot to discuss the Diorskin Forever and Everwear Extreme Perfection and Hold Makeup Base. This is an SPF of 20 as well. So the thing about these two products is that they both have SPF and they're quite high. This is 20, the foundation is actually 35. So if you're gonna go out at night, it might actually be a concern or a problem if you're gonna be dealing with flash photography. But this product is very similar to the, at least the packaging of the Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua. So there's a shaker inside because you're meant to shake it before using it. It's a very watery, liquidy product, and I'm gonna show you guys how it looks. It's like a pinkish white fluid, which is very liquidy. It's gonna go down my skin if I leave it there, and if I spread it. That's actually quite a bit. It smells amazing. It smells amazing. It smells like a skincare serum, and that's what I fell in love with instantly, is the consistency and the texture on my skin. This is something that you can apply. Well, I'm not dry skin, so if I'm using this product, sometimes I just use it on its own without a moisturizer. I believe this has some skincare products with it. Let me read what the brand says about this. This is a essential first step to a high perfection complexion. The Forever and Everwear makeup base enhances foundation application and improves hold. A combination of soft focus and mattifying powders helps immediately smooth the skin's texture, leaving it velvety soft and ideally preparing it for a makeup application. Enriched with a unique holding polymer, its fluid, non-oily texture optimizes the foundation's adherence and staying power. With each application, the poreless effect skincare ingredient helps target pore-related problems, dryness, dehydration, dilation, and slackening for more beautiful looking skin day after day. So that's how it looks after it dries down a bit. I have to agree with a lot of the things it claims, especially with the texture. This, after you've applied it and massaged it into your skin, has a velvety finish to it, which almost feels powdery. And with the Dior Forever foundation, it is a beautiful match. I think there are actually like two products one product divided into two, because they just melt together so well. And I would have to agree that the longevity and the beautiful finish that it's able to sustain for 6 to 8 hours is largely due to the fact of the primer. I think it really does a good job in just holding the foundation in the skin, and not just holding the foundation without breaking down, but actually allowing it to maintain the flawless finish and that poreless finish. And the good thing about this is it really smells like skincare, and it feels like skincare. So it doesn't feel like the Smashbox primers where you feel like you just have a silicone mask in your skin. It actually melts into the skin. And I really think that it's the reason why the foundation gets to last for 6 to 8 hours looking like you've just applied it. So I waited quite a bit to actually try this in Manila, where I currently am at now, because the weather conditions are obviously much more different. It's a very humid climate here. We're at 27-30 degrees, whereas in Vancouver we were in the single digits Celsius, and it's very dry there. So here are my thoughts in terms of trying it out in two different environments. It has held up very, very well in Manila. It did not break down for about 8 hours. I had it on. I did not feel oily, uncomfortable, or sticky at any point after the 4-hour mark. I didn't feel like I had to instantly remove it off my skin. It did not oxidize, and I did not retouch, and that was very surprising. So what I did was just, if you would get sweaty because it's humid here, I would just grab a plain tissue and blot my skin. But the finish after more than 4 hours was almost the same. Honestly, it didn't look any different than when I applied it. So it wears very, very well, even in extreme humid and warm climates. In Vancouver, where it's dry and pretty cold, sometimes it can look dry on my skin, the texture of my skin at least, because this foundation is really long wear, and I think the primer does such an amazing job of just mattifying the skin that it mattifies it over mattifies it for me. I'm not so sure, but you can, because sometimes it is so dry there that sometimes the texture of my skin is more visible. It wasn't bad, but I could definitely see that it was matte, and I could visibly see that I had something on. It did not oxidize or change shade on me, but it wasn't my cup of tea, I think, because it was just so dry. So sometimes I would actually skip the mattifying primer and really just use the foundation. And if it was just a foundation, it was perfect on my combination skin. But in Manila, where the weather is much more humid and warm, this is a lifesaver. I've tried this with another foundation, the Makeup Forever Ultra HD in Vancouver, and it did not work well. So I'm not so sure if that will be the case in Manila, but I really think that this primer was made for this foundation, and I think that's about it. I'm not so sure if this will play well with other foundations, because when I used it on my sister with the Ultra HD, it was bunching up, and it was very visible, almost like the Ultra HD looked cakey or looked more visible than usual. And I think because this formulation was really made to work well with this new formulation for the Forever Diorskin foundation. So that is about it. That is my initial review on the Diorskin Forever primer and foundation. I think it truly creates a flawless matte look without looking cakey or heavy. And yeah, so it is definitely another win for Dior when it comes to complexion products. Definitely did not disappoint, and if you're oily to combination, this is definitely something you should check out. And I think if you are dry, perhaps you can try the foundation itself. I believe you can skip the primer, but the foundation gives amazing long wear. So I think if you moisturize your skin a bit, forget the mattifying primer, it will still look amazing on your skin. So it's a beautiful medium buildable coverage foundation with a nice non-flat matte finish, and I highly recommend you guys try this product out. It retails for about 58 to 60 US or Canadian. So a typical premium foundation, 30 ml or 1 fluid ounce. So that is about it. I hope you guys found this review interesting and informative. If you guys have any other questions, just leave me in the comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day or a great evening. So I'm gonna begin. I've already prepped my skin, so I've cleansed my skin, put my toner, and I've skipped moisturizer altogether so you guys can really see the finish of this. And I've already prepped and primed my skin with the Diorskin Forever and Ever Wear. So I'm gonna put a few in the back of my hand. And this is how it looks. Now, I'm gonna apply this the way that I am most fond of applying it. And surprise, surprise, I think a lot of people will be surprised because this is supposed to be a long wear, medium to buildable full coverage foundation, yet I really enjoy applying with my fingers. And I will show you application with a brush and a sponge as well, but I'm gonna begin with this side using my fingers. So usually if I wasn't filming, I'd actually use both just the palm of my hands and use it literally, like massage it in as if it was like a tinted moisturizer. So that was really quick, less than like a minute I suppose, and that's half my face. That was half a pump, not even a full pump. So that's my first layer, and I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see. So this is my super zoom in, you guys. I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare you. So this side obviously has the Dior Forever foundation, and this one does not yet. I'm sorry, I have a huge sit there, so I've concealed it, but that is how the skin looks. This is with half a pump using my fingers and just one layer. And you can see the finish. It is not completely matte, although I have not set this with anything yet. This is just raw finish, but you can see that it's not flat and it actually really looks like skin. The amazing thing about this is the coverage. So this has nothing and this is one layer. So now I'm going to proceed with the other side of my face, and also just half a pump still. Now what I'm going to do is actually use a brush to buff it in my skin. I'm going to use let's see. I actually like a more dense brush with this. So I'll actually use the Real Techniques brush. So this is with a brush, and I am going to zoom in again. And I think just based on looking at the monitor right now, I think the brush gives a bit more coverage, and then with the fingers or the hands, it's just a bit more sheer and a bit more luminous. Yeah, you can see this is with my fingers, this is with a brush, and this is both half pump. So I'm going to zoom in. So this is zoomed in, and you can clearly see that this is more sheer, and I think that's why I enjoy it, because I've been testing this product on a daily basis for a day wear, so I'm not really looking for major coverage. And the one with using my hands or my fingers, you can see that it's a bit more natural looking, a bit more sheer coverage, and then it's a bit more dewy, like it's melted more with my skin, versus with the brush, you can see the coverage is definitely much more, although this is just half a pump, but you can see the difference. This looks like I've already built on it with a second layer, and you can also see that it's a bit more even. Yeah, so that is how it looks applied and not set with anything.